If you want some. I ain't got no damn cups. That's up to you, though.
Sure.
Sure. Okay, let's see.
I took it out. Unless you want some cups. If you want some
Yeah. I'm gonna text you. All right, let's clap it up. Shalom Israel, we the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out on 1 West on the 25th, Hall, New York, under command of General Yana. The Friday night Lashawan Qadash class will break down the scriptures from a linguistic perspective. So, like, you might doing a, you got the mic, you might doing a mic check real quick. We good. Okay, most of it. All right, slide it. Yeah, we break down the scriptures from a linguistic perspective. I mean, we go into the language so that we can get our person's language out of our mouths. So, like here, 1 second. But we teach the truth to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We've been teaching the truth to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans according to the Bible since 1969. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's only so deep that you can go with these. You know what I mean? It's good to go to, you know what I mean, brotherhood class, law class, get the breakdown on, you know what I mean, how we should treat one another, how we should deal with one another, so that we can come together as a nation. Good to come to the law class so that we can learn the law, you know what I mean, scripture breakdown class so that we can understand our culture and these, you know what I mean, these records, you know what I mean. But if you do all of those things and negate the language, then, you know, I mean, it's only so far that you can go. How can you have a culture? How can you have your own separate culture and then negate the culture of your oppressor? Or select it. How can you have your own culture, own separate culture, and then still speak the language of your oppressor? You know what I mean? So learning the language of our people, having a separate language, you know what I mean, which is what Lashawan Qadash means. Separate language, holy tongue, right? You know what I mean? You can't have your culture, you can't have a culture without having a separate language. All right, so that's what we do every Friday. If you got any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I'll go ahead and address them. I didn't see any from last week, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. But if you got any questions, you can go ahead and raise your hand or put them in the chat, and we'll address them. Any Lashawan Qadash related questions, select it. 1 second. All right. So, okay, so we're going to pick up from where we left off last week, right? Let me move this down there to lock you. We're going to pick up from where we left off last week. Last week, we was kind of doing some review. Of course, I mean, we was reviewing some basics. That's, of course, important for, I mean, building a foundation for learning this language. All right. So we're gonna finish up that review, and then we're gonna go into a bit of a new topic. And this topic is gonna help us be able to understand the language a little bit more, so that we can have more confidence in reading the language. I mean, I see brothers, because we're building this foundation. Because we're building this foundation. I mean, using the prepositions, the possessions, which we're going to review in just a little bit, and the 4 steps of how to read the any phrase in the Lashawan Qadash. You know what I mean? I see brothers building their confidence. Brothers are, you know what I mean, reading phrases a little bit faster, a little bit more sure of themselves. You know what I mean? Just learning these concepts is what's gonna make you more sure of yourself. Because again, like when you're reading a phrase, you're not reading it character by character. You're not going ah, ba, ga, da, ha. You're reading concepts. So you read a preposition, then you read a root word, and then your root word might have a tense in the middle, or a tense at the end, or a preposition at the end, or whether it's present tense, past tense, future tense. Those all have indicators that show you, you know what I mean, how to read the phrase. So when you're reading a phrase, you're not reading ah, ba, ga, da, you're reading concepts. So the more concepts that you learn, the more confident that you're going to be with learning the language. All right. So we're going to get into it. Last week, again, we was going over the, you know what I mean, the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. We was going over the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. And I can't stress how important it is to know the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. Again, like I just said, when you're reading the Lashawan Qadash, you're not reading ah, ba, ga, da. You know what I mean? When you first start, you might look at it that way. But as you learn these concepts, you understand that it's more so, you know what I mean? You're reading in pieces. You're reading the preposition, the root word, the possessive, or the tense at the end, or you know what I mean? That's how you're breaking it down. But if you don't know the Lashawan Qadash alphabet, then you're gonna have a tough time. You're gonna just be sitting up there and you're just gonna be reading. You're gonna be trying to pick apart each and every individual character, and that's not how the language is spoken. It's good practice. It's good practice if you're at home and you know what I mean. You're just looking at the language for the first time. You're trying to understand it, and you're trying to understand the language. You're trying to get better at identifying characters, things like it's good practice. I don't want to discourage brothers from, you know what I mean, doing that. But when you're actually reading it, especially during Sabbath service or Lashawan Qadash, you know, last couple of weeks we've been going into the Bible Hub and reading it, reading the chapters that we're going to be doing in Sabbath service. And when it comes to that, when we're doing that, you're not going to be able to. Oh, damn. Okay, no good. But when it comes to that, then it's gonna be you're gonna have to know these concepts. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to be in the loop. And you're not gonna be able to be in the loop if you don't have the basics. You know what I mean? And the Lashawan Qadash is so easy. You know what I mean? The Lashawan Qadash itself is basic. You know what I mean? All right, so I want to urge brothers, you know what I mean? Get those basics down. Get those basics down. And the language is so basic that, frankly, if you don't have the basics, then it's going to reveal your diligence or lack thereof. You know what I mean? That's just the nature of the language. The nature of the language is simple. You know what I mean? But if you don't have the basics, then it's just going to reveal that you haven't been doing the, you know what I mean, your diligence to get the basics. All right? You know what I mean? Especially, never mind. I'm gonna leave that alone. But all right, so we started doing the what's it called? The pictographs. You know what I mean? Revisiting the pictographs. This is also going to be a foundational concept that it's going to be a good learning tool for you. If you can understand these, if you can understand, or if you can get these in your notes, you know what I mean? Review them maybe once or twice and get them under your belt, then these are just going to be words that you understand. You know what I mean? When you see them in the Lashawan Qadash, when you see them in Bible Hub, or when you see them in brothers' names, when you see them anywhere, you're not going to have to stumble over them. You're not going to have to, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to have to wrestle with them. You know what I mean? So these are going to be real helpful. All right. And it's also going to help you remember the Lashawan Qadash characters from A to Tha. All right. We were going into the ancient as well because the ancient is the most, I mean, that's ours. I mean, we practice in the Assyrian because most of the text that we read, like like the Bible Hub, like Blue Letter Bible, like the Concordance, like you know what I mean. Whatever you slack for you mind. Never mind. So you about to?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Okay, come on. But lucky. But yeah, we've been practicing in the you know what I mean, the Assyrian, because that's what most of your documents are going to be written in. Most of your documents are going to be written, you know, Bible Hub, Blue Letter Bible, your concordance, your Hebrew to English dictionary, all those different things are going to be written in the Assyrian. So that's what we practice in. But the ancient is our language. All right. So you don't want to neglect the language. All right. You don't want to neglect the ancient. It's a lot here. All right. So with that, we'll go over the Lashawan Qadash characters, and then we're gonna go over the possessives, revisit those, and then we're gonna finish this list. And then, if we got time, I'm gonna try not to be so long-winded this time, but if we got time, we're gonna go into this new concept that's gonna again add something to your belt and build your confidence as you read it. All right, so ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, ha, za, kwa, ra, sha, ta. All right. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna show y'all this method again that I use myself to learn the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. I just applied the rhythm of the Lashawan Qadash alphabet to the rhythm of the ABC song. All right, so a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, ha, ta, za, kwa, ra, sha, ta. All right, that's gonna be real helpful. So you don't even have to like memorize it per se. You'll just know the character from a to ta, and you can do that cadence as you're looking at the character. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean, you can just do that cadence as you look at the character, and then quiz yourself, like we talked about last week. Quiz yourself, see what you remember, see what you know what I mean, what you have a hard time remembering, and go from there. But you have to put the work in to learn your language. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you know what I mean, otherwise, you know what I mean, we just gonna stay in hell. You know what I mean? We can't get out of this hell without having more discipline and more diligence than our oppressors. You know what I mean? And if you're not gonna put in the discipline and the diligence, you know what I mean, to get out of this hell, then we might as well, you know what I mean, like you know what I mean, the general said, we might as well just have our oppressor rule over us. You know what I mean? How can we rule over ourselves? How can we be a nation of people when we don't have discipline? You know what I mean? So, I mean, let's go ahead and take this serious and get this simple language. You know what I mean? All right. So, and then also, after a while, it's good to like after a while, knowing these pictographs and what they represent. Like, it wouldn't hurt to memorize those as well. And the pictographs look like the word that they represent, so it's not hard to remember. Like Allah. The ah looks like an ox head. Da, or it's like a ba, baya. Ga, gamal. Da, dala. Ha, hana. Wa, wow. Like it. Hawa, za, zayan. Ka, hawama. Ta, tana'a. Basket, right? And I'm not looking at the board on purpose because I want y'all to work on commitment to memory. You know what I mean? Just keep it. It's possible. You know what I mean? It's possible and it's easy. Look, the ta looks like the bottom of a basket. The ya looks like a hand. Ka, I think we stopped at ka last week, but ka is, you know what I mean, the palm of your hand. It looks like the palm of your hand. La lamad, na or ma mayan, na one. Sa sawa, I ayan, right? All of these memorizing, it'll be easy to remember these words because these words look like the character. Ayun is eye. This character looks like an eye. You know what I mean? Like your eyeball, right? So it's not hard to memorize them, right? Pa, which is pop, right? For mouth, right? Tazah, which is tazad, which is side, which is someone laying on their side. But we'll get into the pictographs. But the point is, remember. You know what I mean? Remember them, and it's not hard because the shapes or the characters look like the word. You know what I mean? If you could get the picture, if you can get the picture, which we're gonna go into tonight, if you get the picture, then you'll remember all of these words. You know what I mean? You'll remember all of these words because every time you see the word, the letter, you're looking at a picture, and it's associated with a word. So, and if you, like I was saying before, if you remember the characters, and you remember from A to Ta, then you have just learned all of these words. I'll show you once we get through with this, then it'll make much more sense. But I'm telling you, if you just memorize and make it an effort to memorize the characters, then you've just learned how many characters are there? 22, I believe. You just learned 22 words just off knowing the characters. All right. So we're gonna get into that in a minute. Real quick, I just want to go into. So, let me adjust this camera. Real quick, we're just gonna go into a quick review. I'm trying to be quick. All right, we're gonna do a quick review of the possessives. All right, so prepositions. We just went over the prepositions. Prepositions come before your root word. Like, let me move this a tad bit closer. This ain't in your way, is it? Okay, move on. Just let me know and I'll make an adjustment. All right, but so your prepositions come before your root word. So possessives, right? Go where? If your prepositions come before, and your possessives come. Yeah. But your possessives come after your root word. All right. All right. So your first possessive, right? Off the top of my head, I don't want to miss any. That's the first one. All right. So, Khan, absolutely correct. So, Yah meaning what?
Me, mine.
Me or mine?
Me or mine.
Khan. So, after a root word, Salak, Yah. Salak means forgive. Yah means me. Salak, Yah. Right? Next one is you can just run them down. I kind of expound on it a little bit, but you can just run them down as we go. So, Ka meaning what?
Ka meaning you or yours.
You or yours. All right. So using the same word, Salak meaning forgive, Yah meaning me, right? Salak Ka means forgive you. If you want to say I forgive you, you can say Ah Salak Ka. I forgive you. Right?
It's like in what?
Meaning what?
He is or it
He
is or it.
is it. Uh, and him as well. Him as well. You know what I mean? Using the same example, you say, Salat, I forgive you, Salak Ka. You say, I forgive him, Salak Wa. Next one is meaning
Her.
her. Her. Right? So forgive her, Salak Wa. Or Salak is Salak Ha. Right? And it's not to be confused with servile tense. All right? And that's the difference. Like if you say let me see. A lot. Trying to think of an example. If you say, okay, so if you say, for example, King Solomon's name is in the Hebrew is Shalamah, right, which means peaceful, right? It's just shalom with a servile tense. And again, there's so many cuts for this shalom garbage. Good night. But first of all, that just lets you know that shalom is incorrect because of King Solomon's name. His name isn't Shalawama, it's Shalomah, right? But Salakia. But to say King Solomon's name is Shalamah. It's Shalom with a servile tense at the end. But it's going to be like, okay, this is how you will write Shalamah. With Shah. Have I been writing the Lashawan Qadash for left to right this whole time? I sure pray not. Shah. So if you see it in the Lashawan Qadash, you'll see this. You'll see that Sha, La, Ma, and Ha. Right? That's how to be written. Right? What's that? Oh, most correct. But that's how Shalamah will be written. This is how you say King Solomon in the Hebrew. But if you pronounce it differently, it's the same writing, right? But if you pronounce it Shalom Ha, then now, because you just pronounced it differently, right? It goes from King Solomon to her piece.
If you say Shalom, Maha,
No, so Shalamah will be King Solomon's name.
Shalom,
Shalom Ha would be her peace. And that's why, like sometimes, like when we do a Sabbath service, like a brother will read a word using the concept that he knows, right? And I'll just say it's pronounced this instead of this. You're not wrong in your thinking. It's just the context. You know what I mean? The context lets you know how to pronounce it. So if we're talking about a sister and something belonging to her, then you'll pronounce the ha by itself. But if you're talking about a servile tense, then you'll pronounce it with the word.
I want to if I could.
No.
So like, pretty much you got to know. Pretty much when you read the scripture, you got pretty much understanding what you read at the time.
Right.
Pretty much, you can't be looking at the character and just be just reading the characters, not understanding what we read. I got you.
Absolutely, and that's why the cyber service is so important, because also Tapazar, he goes into the breakdown and he goes into the story, so you know what you're reading. And then also when you read the Blue Letter Bible Hub, when you read Bible Hub, it has the English underneath, so you'll know the context from what it says in the red in the English. So underneath the Hebrew, it'll say her peace. If the English says her peace, then you know to pronounce it shalom ha. But if underneath it says Solomon, you know how to pronounce it shalomah. Right? But that's how you know the context. And again, like understanding those little things, it'll boost your confidence. So now you're reading it, you're like, okay, now I know what this is. I know why it is this. And now, you know what I mean, you know how to teach it. Where now you can teach another brother. Like if a brother, you know what I mean, sometimes brothers are unavailable for Sabbath service. So, you know what I mean, you never know. You might be the, you know what I mean, second priest. You might be first priest. You might have to, you know what I mean, read the Hebrew. And you might have to assist the younger brother that's coming up under you. And then you can help that brother. Like, okay, it's this, and then you can know why, right? And then you're boosting that brother's confidence in reading the Hebrew. So now nobody's neglecting the language, because that's the reason why we neglect the language, because of lack of confidence. It looks difficult. You know what I mean? It's tedious, or it seems tedious. So if you just, you know what I mean, if you put in that work, just that little bit of work, it'll put some confidence in you, and then that confidence is going to boost your zeal, and then that zeal is going to help you understand your culture better. All right? All right. Where we get? All right, what's the next one? Slide.
Kind of would be Nawab,
Now, what meaning what?
our, we, and us.
Our, we, us. Anything pertaining to first person possessive, first person plural, right? First person meaning me, I'm involved. If it's first person, I'm involved. Second person is me talking to you. Third person is me and you talking about a bond. You know what I mean? But anything pertaining to first person plural, then no one will be there. And just to let you know, none of these are words. A lot of these, like what we're going to go into later, is going to be those conjugations. I'm trying to, Lord willing, we can get to them. We don't have, we'll make a good time. But I do want to get to those, though. I know I've been talking about them for, you know what I mean, past couple weeks. So I do want to get to them. All right. Actually, you know what?
Kind of slacking. You want to finish this or?
Okay, yeah, we gonna finish this, and then we gonna finish that. I'm trying to decide whether I want to finish this, because if I go into a new concept, I'm gonna have to get off the board. So it's up to y'all. Do y'all want this to stay up here for a while? If y'all want it to stay up here for a while, then I'll do the conjugations another day and let this stay up here for like a week or two. It's up to y'all. What y'all?
Slacking, you gonna finish it? So
Yeah,
I write it down.
Yeah, we're gonna finish it so everybody can write it down.
Yeah, once I got slacking, once I got I'm good.
Okay, most time correct.
Yeah, I just
Okay, most time correct. All right, no sweat. All right, we'll get into it if we got time. All right, but most of these are a lot of these are gonna see in the conjugation that we're gonna get into later. All right. All right. So next one.
I got come,
Right.
which is masculine,
Masculine.
and there's a yard. And I guess I got second. I don't know why I put that down.
Second person.
Second person.
So we're talking about and do you have a P next to yours as well?
Yeah, I have plural.
plural. So it's masculine, second person, plural. So I'm talking to, that's how you say, with that being said, what's second person plural? So you're the second person, but it's plural, meaning more than you. So I'm gonna get it to you. But okay, I'll just say y'all. Second person plural is y'all. Right? So let me see. Yeah, you're talking to more than one, right? So your singular is Salakia ka is yours singular. Your plural, y'all's. This is y'all's, right? Now if I say that's your cup, then that's ka. If I say that's y'all's cup, then come.
Reason that be right here.
Yeah, damn right.
It's like, yeah, two different meanings.
Are we gonna well I'll leave that one. What's the next one?
It's like, it would kind of be con,
Which is
also yours, which is I guess remember again, sister. Would be plural, also second person.
right. So same concept. If I say that's your chair talking to the sister, then that's ka. If I say that's y'all's chair, if I'm talking to sisters, then con. Right? All right. There is ma. All right.
Oh, so I can because that Maya is there. Third person is masculine and it's plural.
Third person plural masculine. There. All right. And then the last one.
It would be na.
But
Also is there. Is third person is three and is also plural. Plural.
absolutely. All right. So just like how we say Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Barak, a thumb. A thumb. So it's thought selected, where it says it's thought and ma selected. Thought and ma next to each other. Thumb. Right? And then like it's thought and ma next to each other, meaning them or y'all. Like
So you'd be Slakia. Okay, so it'd be Baraka thumb. So you'll drop the A off the M and or keep the A the MA on there.
it's you'll blend it. Like we like how you would do with a root word. So it'll and ma, you'll pronounce it together. All right. So instead of thama,
All right.
thumb.
Thumb.
Right. All right. It's same with the na, right? Yahweh Shemor Alathan. That na indicates feminine. All right. We're talking to a group. All right.
Slakia. Okay. If I'm telling the sister, multiple sister, please, thank you. It'd be Tawada, you can make Tawada plural and I swear talking like everyone or just Tawada.
Just be the water. The water will suffice. Now, if you're telling them to do something, or if you're giving directions and you're indicating who you're talking to, you say like like when we get into the conjugations, like okay, if you're saying y'all, or if you're saying y'all put away the chairs, you'll indicate it based on who you're talking to. So you say y'all, it's a lot here. You say y'all, you'll put that on the end of what's the word for put? For I don't think we got to that. Did we
What?
put fourth hand?
No, I think we get that. Yeah. Hand is up there. Nah.
Oh, we got to it. Put forth. Oh, hadah. Hadah is to put forth your hand. Right. So I didn't write it because I didn't have the room. But
Yeah, I would think.
you wrote it down? Okay, most of that's right. But hadah means to put forth. All right. So if you're saying hadah, or you're saying y'all put talking to sisters, you'll say
That's fine.
say that again.
I got con.
Con.
Not the con.
If you say, if you're talking to brothers, you'll say hadah come.
Not the con.
I'm trying to remember the word for. I think it'd be a thumb. Hadah come. Y'all put.
So,
We'll get into it. I'm going off the top of the dome, so anyway, I'm not looking at the notes right now, but we'll get into the details in just a second.
sister is it's like it because her sister is akwat, right? So let's say the sister put away the chairs, doing what I'm thinking. I would put say for water akwat, like then can I use con at the end of akwat?
So like if I may.
Go ahead.
So would you say, so you saying sisters put away the chairs, you probably would want to say Aquat, Hadar Khan, the water.
Aquat.
After
Basically.
I don't know if you said after they done.
Put away and then the water.
We're gonna get into the so you would use a conjugation. So you would have to conjugate that verb to make it an appropriate sentence, which is what we're gonna get into right after we get done with these pictographs, and it'll all make sense. I don't want to jump too far ahead. Yeah. Let me see. But it's we're gonna get into it.
We skip over to the freshmen. These freshmen we try to be senior work.
Well, we gonna get there though. We gonna get there. And you also Salakia. And you also like when you in the scriptures, you'll see the Yah, the buffer. Where we at? The Yah, which can be used as a buffer or like a placeholder in between a root word and a possessive. So I think that's this right here. Right? Which I forgot to remind you. That's important. You don't want to, you know what I mean? You want to remember this. This Yah is used as an in-between between a root word and a possessive. So if you see a Yah at the end of a root word by itself, it can't just mean me or mine. The Yah just indicates possession, right? That's the easiest way to recognize it. The Yah indicates possession. Like, for example, you'll see a Yah at the end of a nation, right? So how do you say Israel in Hebrew?
Lashawan.
Khan, Yasharala. How do you say Israelite in Hebrew? You just add
Lashawan.
Khan, Yasharala Yah. Khan. It just indicates possession because for you to be an Israelite, that means you belong to the nation of Israel, right? You go nation by nation. Judah is Yahweh. Judite is Yahweh Yah, right? You'll see it in the scriptures, and you'll want to say, okay, Yah means me or mine. Yahweh is Judah, so Yahweh Yah has to be my Judah. That's correct, but it's not proper, you know what I mean? I don't want to say grammar, but it's not the proper context. It just indicates possession. It just means you belong to Judah. You're a son of Judah. You know what I mean? Same with the heathen nations. Like in the prayers, the Psalms 83, it names all the nations that came against Israel. You know what I mean? Yashima Allah Yah, or Yashima Allah Yom. The Ishmaelites, the Hamites, the Cushites, you know what I mean? You get the point, right? But that Yah just indicates possession. It means me or mine. It indicates possession. And it just is a buffer between any of these other possessors. So you can see, you'll see Yakah, Yahweh. I haven't seen Yahah. I don't think I've seen Yahah. Yanawa, right? Yakun, Yun, right? But that's how that Yah works. It just acts as a buffer between any of these possessors. All right. All right, we're gonna get right into the pictographs. All right. Any questions on the possessors or the prepositions before we move on?
Yeah.
You're racing? No, I'm leaving it on the board. Yeah, I try to leave it on the board, but you know the kids come through here, and, you know they erase everything. All right, but yeah, so I try to keep it up here, but you definitely want to write them down. It helps to, I mean, it's one thing that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm okay.
It's going to be very beneficial to you to just write them down, and then now you'll remember it easier. I mean, 9 times out of 10. All right, give you a second. All right. Lock it. All right. So these pictographs, right? Again, these pictographs was talking about before how important it is to just be careful. We was talking about how important it is to know these pictographs, all right? And it seems like a lot of information, but I promise you, if you just remember the characters from Adata, if you can just go ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, lama, nasa, I, pa, ta, za, kwa, ra, sha, ta. If you can just do that and you know the characters off site, then you're going to remember all these words because the picture represents the word. So if you can remember the picture, if you can remember the character, then you're going to know this word as well. All right. But like we talked about earlier, a lot, or cow, because this is the head of a cow sideways, right? Bayat, house, because this is the floor plan of a house or a tent, right? God, Gamal, because this is the hump of a camel. God, the lot, door, this is the front of a tent, which is triangular, right? Ha, hana, behold, or hada, to put forth hand, which is a hand going like this. All right, that's what this is right here. Wa, fish hook, wall. Za, zayan, which is a weapon, which is this character right here. Ka, kawama, which is a wall or a fence, right? Which is what this is right here. Right? Tana'ah, basket. This is the bottom of a basket. Right? Ya, this is a hand like this, like a hand and an arm connected. Right? Kop. This is where we stopped at. Kop is the palm of your hand. Right? You look at the palm of your hand. This is where your pinky will be. The fatty part of the bottom of your hand where your pinky will be. This is the fatty part of the bottom of your hand where your thumb will be. And these are the lines in the middle of your hand. I mean that the soothsayers be trying to do them palm readings. You know what I mean? But it's a picture. So it gives you a hint. Like it's not hard to remember because the character says the name of itself. It says the name of the character, and it also says the first sound that comes with the character, right? So I'm telling you, it's so easy to remember all of these because you got so many hints with it. Lamad, which means to learn, right? La Mad. Learn. This is like a stick, like a learning, like a I almost said learning stick. It's a cane, like what an old man would, you know what I mean, will walk with, or a learning stick. You know what I mean? When you was messing up, you know what I mean? When you was messing with when you was younger, your grandma told you to go out there and get you a switch, get you a little stick to help you learn. If you was hard headed, you know what I mean? You might have had to catch that learning stick. You know what I mean? I don't know. A lot of, you know, I mean, I know a couple of younger brothers. I know younger brothers didn't catch the switch. You know what I mean? But that's what that is. The lamad. The la is the shape of a stick that you would use to, you know what I mean, whack somebody with to get them to learn something. The lock you. All right, ma. Ma is Mayan. Mayan. Right? We know what Mayan means, right? Kind of. What Bond said was correct. Water. Right? This is the like the waves, you know what I mean, of water. Then not.
Use that tomorrow.
What's that?
Somebody use that tomorrow.
What's that?
I
Right.
can't. You good? You good? But yeah.
Most time Christ. Na is no one. No one. Slack if I'm going too fast. Let me know and I'll slow it down.
2 hours.
No one. Sprout. Sprout. Make sure I'm not missing anything before I just move through this. Well, a couple of these got two of them. All right. A couple of these got two of them. But we're gonna get to a couple of them. Let me see. Okay. The lock in. Okay. Perfect timing. All right. So like it. Forgive me 1 second. I go through my notes. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I know I got one. Okay, here we go. All right. Most of the correct. Okay, no one. Sprout or napash. It's gonna be a word that we'll get real familiar with. I mean, reading in the scriptures. You know what it means?
I read it, but like you say, I've been reading it.
So you know what I mean? Napash.
Wait.
Go ahead. You got a mic back there, right? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Do we mean preacher?
Con.
Creature.
Con. Living or breathing, a breathing animal.
You got in Genesis.
A creature. Huh?
It was in Genesis.
Con.
The Sabbath service, we came up a lot.
Con.
Just at the beginning chapters.
Con. So everything that pertains to something living. So I think you'll it's a lot here. Never mind. But anything that pertains to something living, so soul. It'll be so like the flood, like what you was talking about in Genesis. It says there were 8 souls. So how do you y'all remember how to say 8 in Hebrew?
8.
Come.
6, 8.
Go ahead, boy. Big priest.
Abu
Almost shot.
Shabu.
Shot.
Shamu
You'll see both. You'll see Shamawana and you'll see Shamana. I have it. I gotta ask why one or the other is used. What you say? Oh yeah. Yeah, Lord willing. But either one is used. So you'll see Shamawana, Shamana. I gotta ask why one or the other is used. But 8 la. Actually, I don't know. I'll have to ask. I have no idea. But okay, to say 8 souls, it'll be Shamawana, the Pash. The Pash is soul, one soul. How do you say souls?
With the
La.
or like the pash
Close.
the pashka.
La. What'd you say? It sounded like you said it right. No?
I know I was thinking about numbers. So numbers you put yum at the end and make it.
No, I'm talking about soul.
So I know. So
Oh yeah. Okay, what were you about to say? Slightly cut you off.
I don't know. So I don't know.
No, you got it. Good.
Would it be the pash what?
La, that's hour.
Oh.
You'll get a shot first?
I thought it was you.
Kind of.
So I was saying it right.
Yeah, you was on the way because that's how you.
Yeah, I said yum. I know yum is plural.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I wanted you to just repeat it in the mic, but you're correct. So to say souls, you will say, or to say 8 souls, it will be Shamawana, the Pash Yo, the 8 souls that lived through the flood. All right, but you see the Pash a lot, like souls. Like I believe when Abraham went to go and get Lot when he was caught in that conflict in Sodom and Gomorrah before it got destroyed. when those kings was fighting against one another, and he got caught in that conflict, and he ended up getting captured. I think it said he went in there with, I believe, like 318 souls, and he went up against, all these different kings to go get everything that they took from Lot and to retrieve Lot. And then the king that that came back and realized that Abraham had got all the stuff back, he was like, hey, cool, you got, you got all the stuff. You can keep everything else. Just give me the men, give me my, my slaves. And he said, take everything. I don't want to, Abraham was like, I don't want you to be able to say you made me rich. Because he knew that his glory, the glory belonged to the Most High. He was like, I don't want you to be able to say you made me rich. He said, just take what you need, just leave me what did he say? I can't remember if the word souls is in this one, but he said, leave me what the young men had eaten and the souls that it it's like I don't think he said souls there. But you get the point. He went in there with 318 souls, I believe the number is. There were 8 souls that survived the flood. You'll see that word in the potch there, but that's what this character is. All right. Now this is going to be important for brothers to recognize. It's a lot. I keep moving them up. It's a lot. Also, my damn pocket. It's a lot here. All right. So the one again, I'm out of room, but make sure you just write it in your notes. The one, sprout, the posh, soul. You know what I mean?
The second one is sprout.
First one, the one.
The one is sprout.
Then the posh is soul. Soul, breathing creature. Anything pertaining to something living, like a living thing.
Some soul, right?
God.
Sprout.
I don't know why I wrote this like this. I don't know why I wrote this out. But Sa. Sa is for two of them. Sawak. Sawak, which is flag.
So like good. That's the right penmanship on there, or you just use a line after a line with 3.
So it looks like this right here.
Oh, that's why I got written down. Right.
I don't know why I wrote it
Yeah, you
sideways.
got a sideways.
It's lucky. But sometimes, like you said, penmanship. It's just penmanship because sometimes you will see it
See like that.
like that. Like I didn't like if you open up that scroll and look at the characters because the Hebrew's written in that scroll. If you open up the scroll and see the characters, so like you'll see some crazy characters. Like I had to take when we was first building it, I had to take a picture of one of the writings and send it to the men above me and be like, "What is these characters?" Because I was used to seeing this penmanship up top,
Oh my God.
but some of them was like looking crazy. Like I think the La looks like this, like the La looks like that. in the ancient, but I think it looked like,
When you were seeing that,
yeah, that's what it looked like. And I was like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? What else? But it's a couple of them that just look crazy. I was like, what in the hell am I looking at? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just penmanship. So that's just this, or it's like I don't erased it, but that's just the side at an angle. Cause I this as well. That's probably why I did it, because this one, the high, it'll look like, I believe up there it's right side,
mhm.
but in the scroll it's like at an angle like that. So it's just little things like that. All right. Okay. So sawat, flag. Right. Right. And a flag is used to do what? Like when you plant a flag, like it. You plant a flag. What are you doing?
Yeah, you claiming your territory, claiming that territory,
You're doing. You're doing what to that territory?
making it yours.
Con. What?
Marker.
Con. You want to give it a shot? All of y'all are correct. This word means something specific. That's what I'm asking.
Flag,
What do you when you plant a flag? What are you doing to your territory? Claiming. What you got?
Making it your property.
Con. Everything that y'all saying is correct.
Possessing.
Con. Establish. You're establishing that this is my territory. You're establishing your borders, your boundaries. So samak means establish. And that's why, like, if you open up Bible Hub, I gotta double check. But when you open up Bible Hub and you read something, I noticed that at the end of a phrase, it'll have a sa at the end. And some brothers read it. Some brothers will read the phrase and then at the end of they'll say sa. Like, think of an example. You know what I'm talking about though? Like, hey, it's like in the mic.
It's like after you say that last word, and then it's out of nowhere you see "sa" something like that. Everybody itself.
What I've noticed is you'll see sa at the end of like when like for example, like when the Most High made the covenant with Abraham, he said, you're going to go and circumcise all of your, you know what I mean, yourself, your children, all people in your household, all the men in your household, the ones you bought with money, and this will be a tradition for your family for generations. That's the Lord establishing the covenant with him. So after like something is established, like a law or a tradition is established, I noticed that sa is there, meaning something is being established. Now there's another thing we're gonna get to it, but there's another one that appears right after this one, right? So I went over it earlier. What's like Ayun, Ayun, which is I, EYE, like the eyeball. That's why this character looks like this. All right? This eyeball. You know what I mean? Ayun. So like it. Right, so that's one eye. So Ayun, one eye. You got two eyes. So say eyes would be what? Ayun yum.
Two eyes would be young yum.
Ayun yum. All right. All right. Give me a second to go into it. Or go ahead and write it down. And then once you get used to the ancient, then you don't even have to memorize these. You don't have to memorize these words. You just look at the character, say I. Oh, that looks like a I. So I is for I young. So now not only do you know the character, but you just memorize another word. Right. All right. All right. Okay. Pa. I kind of briefly touched on it earlier. Pa is just Pa, which is mouth. Right? And I don't know if y'all noticed, but you'll see this at the end of a phrase as well, or at the end of a sentence as well. Right? And I noticed that some brothers will select you. But a brother just read. Some brothers will see it and will read it. Some brothers won't. These two characters, that Sa, like we was talking about earlier, and a Pa, are like, you'll see it at the end of a phrase, or it's like at the end of a verse, like punctuation. I mean, Pa represents a mouth, that's why it's the shape of a mouth, like speaking, right? You'll see this a lot after the Most High says something. Like if he's giving instruction, or if like a prophet is giving instruction, like Moses, you know what I mean? Any prophet, I mean, you might see that at the end. This will be say, do this, don't do this, take this and do this. And you know what I mean? When somebody is giving instruction, or just speaking in general, let me just say that, just speaking in general, you'll see that at the end of it. Like at the end of somebody finishing their statement, you'll see that pop. Right? It's like the best way I can describe it is like quotation marks. Like how you see quotation marks in English. That's kind of how that appears at the end of a phrase. All right. But it's just to indicate dialogue. That's how I put it. To indicate dialogue. All right. So this is to indicate that something is being established at the end of a verse, and then you'll see this at the end of a verse to indicate dialogue. And then Tazah, right? Tazah is, make sure I got this correct. All right, Tazah, which is how you would say side, right? So this character, Tazah, all right, that's what the Tazah looks like, right? All right. It's just a simplified version of someone laying on their side. All right. That's what that Tazah That's what, or Salaki, that's what that Tazai is, Tazai, or side. It's easy to remember because Tazai sounds like side. You know what I mean, which, you know what I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where that came from.
Tazad. Tazad.
Tazai, side. All right,
That means side.
side, like on your side. And also another one, Tazayad.
That's a wrong.
Tazayad.
Hand, side of your hand.
La'a. Oh, you know what? That's a good. I don't know. I don't know. You might be onto something, and I'll tell you why.
Yad is a hand.
Right? Yeah. I'll tell you why, because Tazayad means it's like a tomahawk or a hunting tool or something you use to chop. Right? You could use your hand in the same way. You know what I mean? But I don't know. But that's exactly how words are built. You know what I mean? So that's not a bad assumption to make. And what you'll find is, and just to your point, I'm glad you just said that too. What you'll find is words are built off of these pictographs. Like, let me see how I can read this. What's the word for? Remember the word for father?
Or the,
Or you,
I have the document. Get.
go ahead. Abba.
Yeah.
Abba. So Abba, you write it like Abba, right? You break it down. Is what? Go ahead.
What is it?
A lot, ox or a cow, the head of a cow or ox, right? An ox represents strength, right? So ba is for what?
House.
Khan. Bayat, house, right? What is the father? The strength of the house. So that's how this word is built. And ba. You take the word for ox or a representation of strength. You take the character that represents house. You put it together, and now Abba is the strength of the house or your father. So that's how words are built, from these characters, these pictographs coming together. All right. And then these pictographs come together and make words, and then you make bigger words from combining smaller words, and that's how the language evolves, right? So you might be correct with the Tazayad. You know what I mean? I would have to ask. I would have to ask and confirm, but you might be onto something. All right. So, qua, right? Qua. Salakia. Qua is for quam, which means rise, right? Quam, rise, which is what this is. It's a sun rising, right? So you got the half a sun, and remember, these pictographs, the simple pictographs that you see now, come from more, more elaborate pictographs. Like we was talking about the ox head before. This ox head is just a simplified version of what we see as an ox is just a simplified version of an ox head, right? So all of these are just simplified versions of its pictogram, all right? So when the sun rises, when it's rising, it looks like this. And then you've got the line You know what I mean? In the middle, indicating that it's coming up. All right, so that's how you get this symbol right here. Quam, which means rise. All right, so when you say Quam Yasharala, what are we saying?
Rise,
Khan, rise Israel. Quam Yasharala, rise Israel. Right? Because right now we in the dust. You know what I mean? We're in the dust. We're in a low state. You know what I mean? We're in hell, which is what, you know what I mean, what actual hell is. Hell is a low state in the dust, where your oppressor is in heaven. You know what I mean? In a high state. The scriptures say, paraphrasing, they're going to fall out of their heaven, and hell will meet you at thy coming. So that's why we say rise Israel, because we're trying to rise out of this low state. That's why we come to class. That's why we teach classes. That's why we learn the language in Lashawan Qadash class. That's why we have Sabbath service. That's why we practice and keep the feast days and the high holy days. That's why we keep the Passover, because we're trying to we're trying to rise out of this low state. You know what I mean? That's why we say Quam Yasharala, right? The Ra is for Ash, which is head. Head, all right? Which is what this pictograph represents. It's just a simplified version of a head, right? Somebody's head on the neck, right?
You see that, Lord? Rash.
Ra'ash.
Rahash.
Ra'ash.
Rahash.
Done. Done. So Ra'ash meaning like Ra'ash meaning head, right? That's why, and a lot of words are built off of Ra. Well, a couple words are built off of Ra'ash. That's why Ra'ash. You add a one, and we got next week we're gonna go over the tenses, right? But you add a one. Remember what one means? When you add one as a tense behind the word.
That's like, okay, so I think it means, is it naming?
Absolutely. Most times right. Means you're naming something, you're making something a proper noun, basically. You know what I mean? So you add one at the end of Ra'ash, becomes Ra'ash one. It means first. Right? First. That's one of your ordinal numbers. Have we went over ordinal numbers? I believe I went over. I did a class on it a couple months ago, but I know we did a review on the numbers. We can go back if y'all. Yeah, we'll probably next week we'll probably go over ordinal numbers to do a review on that. But Ra'ash one is how you would say first. Shanya. I believe Shanya is how you would say second. Shalayashya is how you would say third. Rabayaya is how you would say fourth. Chamayashya is how you would say fifth. Shasha, I believe Shasha is how you would say sixth. So on and so we'll go into it more in depth. I gotta go back and pull up the lesson. I can't remember off the top of my head, to be honest. But you do see a lot of those ordinal numbers in the scriptures, which is if you learn to recognize ordinal numbers just like you learn to recognize regular numbers or cardinal numbers, then those words will become sight words. And again, those are words that you can just breeze through when you're reading during the during the Sabbath service. again, the whole point is for us to be able to speak the language. And for us to get stronger in speaking the language, we're going to have to practice with Sabbath service. So when you're seeing it in Sabbath service, it'll be easier to pinpoint. So you're not just sha, la, ya, sha, like you're not fumbling through it, or it's not foreign to you. You can just go to the concept like, okay, I remember this. This is in the English, it's 6. I know how to say it or in the English, it's third. So in the Lashawan Qadash, I know to say third is shalayashya. Right? So you just go straight to the concept rather than trying to fumble through the word. And then that's how you, again, build your confidence. That's the whole point. You know what I mean? You start to add these two, and then, well, I ain't going to select it. I'll leave it right there. But, I mean, again, that's the whole point. You had your hand up, or use this? Select. All right, so Ra'ash, head, where the word for first comes from, which is Ra'ashwan. Select it. I'll be trying to go. Shun. Which is tooth. Tooth. Right, and I'm glad you said that, because two is, you remember how to say two in Hebrew? Shun ya. So if shun ya is so it's like Shun, this is the
tooth or two.
It's tooth. Shun is tooth. Shunya is the word for tooth.
Mm-hmm.
And this pictograph is a picture of 2 teeth.
So 2 teeth.
Come.
Going down, that's it.
Come. That's what the pictograph is. 2 sharp teeth. Now, I brought up 2 because you know how to I forget who brought it up, but how to when we was talking about 8. I think you brought it up. We was saying to say 8 will be Shemona. To say 80 will be, you would add a yum at the end.
Okay.
Now, if you were to say, so everyone follows that rule except for Shun. So Aishara is 10. Salakia. Shalash Shalash Yum is 30. Arba Yum is 40. Kamash Yum is 50. So on and so forth. But you get the Shun, or you get the 20, you don't say Shun Yum. You don't say Shun Yum. It's Aishara Yum. Right? If you say Shun Yum, it's as if if you say Shun Yum, since this pictograph means teeth or tooth. Since this pictograph means tooth, you add yum, you're saying teeth. So if you say Shun Yum, it's teeth and not 20. So it's just to avoid confusion.
So like you about this. So how you say 20?
It's Aishara Yum.
Aishara? You spell it?
Aishara Yum.
ISHA.
ISRA.
Go.
ISHA. RA.
YA. RAYA.
RAY.
Go.
How do you say like
Oh.
I want to say a shot by yacht in house. How would I say?
Okay. Excellent question. All right. So head Ra'ash. House, bayat. So all you would do to say of is add the preposition.
Okay.
So
Where would you add it at? The end or in the middle?
preposition are before the root word. So and of the house, right? So
It's gonna be Rosh Hashanah.
Ra'ash, ma
Right.
habayat,
Okay. Man.
right? Of the house, right? Ra'ash mahabayat. Or you know what I mean, some of y'all brothers got 2, 3, 4, 5 head of the houses. Ra'ash mahabayatim. Bayatim. And then the last one. Last one. Ta. Ta for Saul. Thal.
Oh.
Thal, mark. Mark. Right? That's what that X is for. You marked. You know what I mean? Like it says in I believe in Revelations, it talks about a mark in your hand, in your head. You know what I mean? These Christians think that that's what a microchip. You know what I mean? You get a microchip in your hand, and now you marked, and I guess can't fly around with naked angel babies. I guess, or whatever the hell perverse, you know what I mean, doctrine they teaching up in there. But that's incorrect. You know what I mean? If you're doing that scripture that I just paraphrased, if you have the mark in your hand and in your head, in your forehead, that means what's in your mind and what you're doing because of what's in your mind, right? And because of what you're doing, because of what's in your mind, you're marked. So if you eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster because your oppressor does it and your oppressor gave it to you in your captivity, you're marked to the Lord. You know what I mean? You when Christ comes back and you celebrating Christmas thinking it's Christ's birthday, you're marked to the Lord. That's the mark. It's not talking about no microchip. It's not talking about nothing you put in your skin. You know what I mean? It's talking about what you're doing. But that's the mark. But thal, that thought is for thal, mark. Right? And you notice if you look at the, you know what I mean? And that's how you know that this Assyrian is a bastardized language. Because if you look at the Assyrian characters don't resemble these characters, these pictographs. The ancient does, like that looks like a mark. Those look like teeth. That looks like a head. That looks like a sun rising. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. But if you go to the Assyrian, you go to the Assyrian, none of these characters, well, I won't say none of them, but they very rarely look like, or they don't really resemble the pictograph that they're supposed to represent. That's how you know that the Assyrian is a bastardized version of this language. You know what I mean? Let's see what time it is. All right. Let's see. All right. We all good? You want to take a picture before I promise. I'm gonna leave it because I don't want to rush. Next week we're gonna do the tenses and write those down, review those, and then we're gonna go through the conjugations of the. You know what I mean? We're gonna go through the conjugations and how to conjugate a verb. But I'm gonna leave this on the board, right? And brothers can use this. Like during Sabbath service, you can use this. Like you just look at these characters know what I mean, look at these characters, look at the pictographs, work on committing it to memory, or at least put it in your notes. You know what I mean, so you have it to reference. And then, you know what I mean, when you see these words pop up in Sabbath service, you know what I mean, you can just breeze right through them because you know what they mean. You know what I mean? So this is what? You got 22 plus 22 plus 3, 4, plus like 3, 4, 5, 25 root words right here off the rip that you can have committed to memory. You know what I mean? Just by knowing the character. You had that up?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
If I may, do you ever sometimes like go through the Sabbath service, like in the Lashawan Qadash class?
Go.
So basically, like, so when Sabbath comes, we were already like kind of like been through it.
That's what we was doing a couple weeks ago. I kind of branched off from doing that just temporarily because I just wanted to put these back up here. When the kids get to running around, they get to erasing the board. So I just had to put this back up here. But next week, after we get done, or depending on how soon we can get done going over this lesson, depending on how fast we can get through it, we'll get back to going over what we go through with Sabbath service. But that was what we was doing. We since it's a lot of chapters, and because we limited to like a 2-hour class, we only get through like maybe half, depending on how fast brothers is reading. But yeah, we do definitely do that. Is that more helpful for you, or?
I think it would be like so. Lately, I haven't watched the last couple Lashawan Qadash classes because on Fridays I had when my schedule changed. So
Okay, no sweat. Yeah, this was just a real quick thing. I just want to get this back up here because I like to keep this up here for brothers to just reference. You know what I mean? You should have it in your notes, but I do keep it up here. And then
No, I was asking whoever go through the Sabbath service on Friday.
We just went back last week.
Yeah,
We just come here, just go through the scriptures.
yeah, that's exactly what we used to. Like you just said, that's exactly what we've been doing. But I just wanted to get this on here real quick because it got erased. So, Lord willing, if it's not next week, the following week we'll be back into that group. I do want to get to them congregations. We only got like 20 minutes left, so I'm gonna go ahead and just close it now. And then next week we're gonna go straight into the conjugations, and then the tenses, and then we'll get to reading. All right.
Hold on, about to.
All right. With that, like I Imagine, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers, individual Imagine Shabbat. Imagine, Barak. Yajimata, Sar, return to the sisters, courtesy salute to the sisters, individual Imagine Shabbat. Imagine, Barak. Yajimata, last dismissed.